In today's episode, I talk with Coach Cory of the Wilmington College Men's Program. If you like our interviews, I would truly appreciate it if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel, or if you're more of a podcast person, rate us and subscribe on your favorite platform as we're on Apple, Google, Spotify, and more. And don't forget to follow us on all the different social media channels at discover_CS. Thanks. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Coach Cory Bucur at Wilmington in Ohio. Welcome, Coach.
Thanks for having me, Matt. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I grew up not too far from Wilmington, probably, I don't know, hour and a half probably from my hometown of Pickerington, Ohio. But um, and as we were just talking here before, I love to see one of my fellow St. Charles alums on your roster. So I'm sure he's just probably the best player, best student, everything on the team just because he went to St. Charles. But you know,
Exactly. If you came from there, I mean, it's a long history of talented men's soccer players. So,
something like that, something like that. Well, I appreciate it. So, well, let's jump in. Let's talk about Wilmington College a little bit. You know, Division III program. When do you really start talking to players and kind of starting to form those recruiting classes? What year in high school are the kids, or when do they start reaching out? That kind of thing.
yeah, and that's a great question. And especially, I mean, this is my first year here at Wilmington College. So, this is year 4 for me being a head coach. So, I was previously at Defiance College, which is another NCAA Division III school within the region. So, there are subtle differences that I'm still figuring out, but still, that I think that spring of your junior year, or kind of right after your high school season of your junior year, is really when the more serious kind of communications start. I think that club season of your junior year is important because fall is kind of crazy for everyone. Whether it's your high school season, we're in the full swing of our college season, so it's kind of hard to get out and see things. So that spring gives everyone a little bit more flexibility to really get past to just kind of the basic conversation into some real nuts and bolts of our school, who we are, getting to see players, and so on.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. How many inbound contacts do you think you get? You know, I know, and I'll say average week, and I know it varies because of tournaments and other things, but you know, what's the inbound traffic that you're getting from kids who are sophomores, juniors, even seniors during that time?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, some of it is just kind of the automated, whether it's through NCSA or field level or a Captain U type thing, which I'm not saying it's more or less detailed or personalized, because sometimes people use that as an initial resource, but then still kind of really personalize it, which is good. But I mean, per week, combining those and some actual just kids finding my email and reaching out, I'd say probably about 15 contacts of some sort. So I mean, multiply that by 4, you're looking at 60 a month, give or take, depending on the season. So there is a bit of traffic which we sort out, prioritize based on the year, based on kind of what they're saying in their message, if we have a connection with a coach or region or something like that. So probably that 15 range per week.
Okay. What what are some of your kind of must see tournaments, places you have to make sure you get to each year that you're really using to check players out?
Yeah, well, I mean, our location at Wilmington is kind of phenomenal because Blue Chip is one of the big ones within the region. And I don't even have to book a hotel for that. It's a 30-minute drive there, 30-minute drive back. Forget about it. Easy day for me. So, I mean, Blue Chip, Crossroads are kind of the big ones within the region that we really prioritize. I mean, Grand Park for the last couple of years has been doing a great job at showcasing a top talent. And I think now being at Wilmington in the OAC, now the Disney showcases come into play because we can recruit that little bit more profiled club, student athlete. So it's just kind of the big ones. We still like to have a in-person presence at. So whether it's in the region, out of the region, I mean, Disney, Blue Chip, Crossroads are kind of the big 3 that come to mind.
Yeah, that's I always get the question of what tournaments outside the main, you know, ECNL and MLS next tournaments of Blue Chip and Crossroads are definitely the ones I hear more of in the Midwest. Um, What about camps? How do they fit into your whole recruiting cycle? Do you do camps? Does you and your staff work at other camps? Where's that? What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, my summer is crazy because I mean that's what I try and kind of prioritize is just getting out. I mean, not only for me, it's nice to make connections with coaches and kind of see different kids in different locations, but we also do them, and I think it's very valuable because I think ones on our campus put guys because it's more of our staff running it, and it's like how do you fit within how our staff runs things. How is our relationship when you coach? How do you react to feedback? How do you react to um, kind of our verbiage, our language, and like, are you able to enjoy yourself within our environment? So I know people have different philosophies on them, whether it's a money grab or how much do people seriously look at them. Um, I think the ones on our campus are very important to our personalized recruiting because we want to recruit directly from there because we see you in person on campus. Then the student allows them to kind of, probably after camp or if they come in the night before, get to walk around campus or drive around and see the town and community. So it's also a good opportunity for them to a little bit more just envision, can I see myself at Wilmington, at school B, school D, whatever it may be.
Yeah. Well, whether it's at a camp or a tournament or any of those kinds of things, when you're watching players, what's kind of your hierarchy of things that you're looking at? What kind of attributes, abilities, whether it's on the field stuff or off the field stuff that really kind of ticks the boxes for you and makes you interested in a player?
Yeah. I mean, like I'll be honest, even though like I'm a Liverpool guy, like Sir Alex Ferguson said the quote of like he wants to get off his chair and be excited at something. Like I'll be honest, I do love that. Like, can you do something that excites me? But then the more bare bones foundation quality, like I'm a big what's your reaction to mistakes kind of guy because I fully believe that we pick the most unrewarding sport in the world to play when we're running around for 90 minutes, 80 minutes, however long the game is, trying to score one goal, two goals, three. Well, basketball, you're scoring 60 to 100 points. Football, you're putting up numbers. So there's going to be a lot of mistakes within that time. So how do you react to them? Like, do you just check out of the game because you get stuffed twice in a row 1v1? Does your head just drop down because you got beat 1v1 or because you made a bad pass? Because, I mean, kind of the environment that we try and create, I mean, by no means are we rewarding mistakes, but we try to make sure our guys and our coaching staff don't harp on them too much just because in the natural flow of a game, there's always going to be mistakes being made. It's how quickly can we correct them or can we have our reaction to them be a positive one to make up for it?
No, that's good. In terms of the roster and what you're recruiting, is there a roster size that you're trying to hit each year, and how does that you know tie into your recruiting every year and the numbers that you're bringing in?
Yeah. I mean, and I think every program, school is going to have their different philosophy. Um, this is, I mean, a Wilmington thing, but also just where I've been, what I feel like is optimal. I mean, we're at 34 right now. I think anywhere between 32 to 42 is my personal comfort zone because I do think it allows us like to have competition at practices while still giving guys realistic opportunities to, hey, I'm competing with two or three guys at my position. It's not 4, 5, 6. It's I see it. I see my matchup. I could come talk to coach about the things that I need to do better to maybe improve my position. So, I mean, I think between that 32 and 42, I mean, 45 at most is kind of where I see um, me having success coaching a program while still being able to have personal interactions, creating competition. I mean, injuries at this level are, unfortunately, they happen. So it's having plans for those. But I mean, this might be a future question that you plan on asking. So, I mean, we are one team. It's not a varsity reserve team. But then we also, I mean, this year we don't have a whole lot, but in the future, like we do have reserve games for guys not getting first team minutes to say, hey, here's your chance to go improve yourself. And that's something me as the head coach, I find value at being at. And I let the assistants take a little more of the lead in terms of tactics. I mean, we talk about the starting lineups together. but let them make some subs. But I am still there as a presence. So these guys are like, okay, it's still for the head coach being able to play to have value in that. But we all practice at the same time. We're all going through the same drills, having the same opportunities. But I do think it's good to give those guys some game time to go and showcase their talent and abilities.
No, absolutely. Well, the one question, a lot of parents like to ask is, how much is this going to cost me, right? So, without any athletic money, what's the academic money and other grants and scholarships, overall financial aid situation look like at Wilmington? What's an average player going to be looking at? And I'm not holding you to hard to any numbers
No,
here, but just give me a good idea of what's going on there.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, at the Division III level, I mean, academics do factor pretty high into it. So I know, like, we're fortunate enough that, I mean, our top academic aid scholarship could vary between 18,500 and 20,000. So, I mean, if you're taking tuition, room, board, meals, all that together, we're about that 43 range. I mean, that's already cutting it down. But I mean, kind of around that 20 mark. And then we have, whether it's scholarship competitions, outside scholarships, we do offer different things of that nature. And then if you look at our roster makeup, I mean, we have Ohio, but then we also have a good out of region presence and international presence, just because we do have some outside funding for out of state students, for international students, to help make the cost of attendance affordable. And I mean, we're still at the Division III level. This is all tied into their academics and kind of outside international qualifications. I mean, we're not handing out full rides by any means. That's not how we're doing things. They're still looking between anywhere from that 15 to 25 range. But we do have some good outside scholarships to at least make it in the conversation with some other people.
Okay. Well, let's talk more about the school. There's, I'm sure, some folks out there who didn't grow up in Ohio who maybe aren't familiar with Wilmington College. So, besides, going on the website and learning a bunch of stuff, can you give me some of the awesome things or some things I may not know about Wilmington that make it a great place to be?
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, some of it are things that I didn't even realize until I got here. I mean, I'm a Cleveland, Ohio guy. That's where I'm from. That's where I grew up. I played college soccer 45 minutes outside of Cleveland. So I always knew about Wilmington just because I kind of immersed myself in the soccer culture and knowing the OAC because of the prestige that it has as a Division III conference. But I mean, something that I didn't know, like I didn't know what, like, we're the Fighting Quakers. Like I didn't know anything about what it meant to be a Quaker. And it's not like you have to be a Quaker to be at the school, but I mean, something our guys, I think they find cool is like everyone's first name basis here. So like even your professors and your teachers, like it's a first name basis that it's different. Like, especially like I went to a small private Catholic school, like St. Charles, like you're probably used to, it's Professor so-and-so, Professor Jones, Mr. whoever. And I think this creates a more personal interaction with your teacher. And being a student athlete, when you might have to miss a class because of travel for an athletic competition, because you have that little more personal interaction, and with the personalized like class sizes being between 15 to 25 students, I think it's easy to find help when you need it. And I think that's something that our student athletes are really finding success in is if you're struggling, like it's because you're just not listening to all the resources that are here, the coaching staffs that here. So I think it helps our students be successful early on, because I mean, college, it's a whole new journey as a freshman when you get here. And I think some of that stuff makes it take a deep breath. Okay, I could do this. And then I think the facilities that we have on campus are outstanding. I mean, we have, our 11, like our turf stadium that we share with football, lacrosse, women's sports, but then we also have a 9v9 turf facility that kind of goes right up against our athletic training services, and about a 50 by 50 indoor turf facility. So, when weather doesn't allow us to be outside, we have things right on campus that I know a lot of other schools don't have that kind of access to. So, like yesterday, unfortunately, was the first time in my career that a game had to be cut short because of lightning, and we've had great weather throughout the year, and it just so happened to be like that. So we couldn't go in and play 11v11 in this, 50 by 50 area, but we have awesome resources for our student athletes to get um, just that ability to compete, train. And then our athletic training program is one of our marquee programs here. Our staff is phenomenal. So our guys, I mean, better than anywhere I've heard of and seen, even at Division 1, 2, 3, our athletic training staff does an incredible job of getting our guys treatment ready to go, and services right here on campus that makes it easy and accessible.
Okay. Well, in terms of, other support systems, what does the school offer to help the student athletes balance their academics and athletics and make sure that, you know, they are successful both in the classroom as well as, in the athletic arena?
Yeah, and I mean that's something that's super important, because I mean my goal as a coach is to, from the soccer perspective, like give these guys an incredible 4-year experience with memories that last a lifetime, playing in big games, finding success. But it's also about obtaining the degree, and I know we got some guys, like, I don't care that we're Division 3, that could probably find somewhere to play after graduation with their talent, their work ethic, their ability, but still having that degree, because it will all come to an end eventually. So that is ultra important to the experience. So I mean, we have a whole student success team, with about 4 to 5 staff members that, if kids are struggling or if they're flagged early on in the year based on, as incoming freshmen, their high school GPA or the classes that they took, or if they've been here and not exactly knocked it out of the park, that they have individual coaches, if you will, to make sure that they're monitoring their progress, staying on top of things. So like I said, if you're not succeeding, it's just because you're making a physical and mental choice to not listen to all the resources that are there. And that's in addition to our coaching staff and the checks that we do and the individual meetings that we have to kind of nip any problems in the bud before it gets to the last week of the semester, and it's like, all right, well, you can't do anything about it now. So it's just the early alerts, the student success teams, the free tutoring services on campus. And I think, again, going back to those personal interactions you have with your professors, I think it also makes you more inclined to want to succeed, because they're more than just this figurehead or like you're a number type feel.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, can you walk me through what a typical week during the season would look like? I mean, I know maybe there's no such thing as a typical week, but we'll call it average. Just in terms of, when's training, when are meals, when are classes, what's your game cadence normally, that kind of thing, just to give folks an idea.
Yeah, and I mean, I think once we get into conference play, it does become more of a routine type style, because we play every Wednesday, Saturday consistently. Non-conference, I mean, we're just always trying to find games and squeeze them in as well as we can. So I mean, with playing Wednesday and Saturday, Sunday is usually your off day, which I enjoy, even though it takes years out of my life. I get to watch the Cleveland Browns play and all that. But and I mean, Monday, we typically will train at 4 o'clock. Then we have lifts, and how we do our team lifts on Mondays. We only lift on Mondays right now just because I want our guys to physically do something, but I don't want them to be sore, tired, exhausted for the game week. So those are broken up into like 3 individual times. So like 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., 11 a.m. to noon, and then an after practice session, depending on how your class schedule fits, just to give everyone an option. So we practice at 4 p.m. to about 5:45, 6 p.m. And then Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, we take the 6:30 to 8 p.m., 8:15 slot. So we're on the game field, going through the 11 aside, making sure our tactics are right for the game. So on that Monday, we're on that 9v9 turf, doing a lot of technical work, possession work, and finishing. So it becomes Monday practice with the lift. Tuesday, you'll have your practice, and then we let our guys go get dinner from the cafeteria, and then we come back and do our film session for our opponent on Wednesday, play your game Wednesday, Thursday, recovery, practice, Friday practice, dinner, film, and then Saturday's the game. So it kind of flows into that sequence. So your 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. is pretty free, minus a lift here and there. But something our coaching staff also takes pride in is making ourselves available for some individual small group work when it fits between our guys' class schedules. So, one of our assistant coaches takes the lead on that. The guys reach out to him, and whether it's just like 30 minutes of work, hour of work, I think it's been awesome for our guys to know that, hey, I could just go and kick the ball around and do some cone work, but we actually have coaches that's something that I prioritize our time around to give these guys the best experience possible, to run these little nothing mandatory voluntary sessions that if they want to put the work in, we always want to be there to help them.
Oh, that's fantastic. Let's talk more about the team and the soccer side of things. You mentioned staff. So how big is your soccer staff? What roles does everybody play? How do they fit into the equation?
Yeah. So, our soccer staff here, we have, including myself, 4 guys on staff. And, yeah, that might seem like a lot, but it's truth to be told, it's to a bunch of these guys on staff just wanting to be here and be involved. So we have – no one is a full-time assistant coach, if you will. We have an intern position, which is taken by the former 4-year starting goalkeeper and captain of the team, who really had pride in his experience and wanted to stay involved, Felix Maurer. And I think to everyone's credit, like, they go above and beyond their title and what they want to do. So Felix is here, and then Anton Nicholson. Anton was a former goalkeeper here as well, who works remote kind of accounting work. So after his 8 to 4, he's available to run our goalkeeper sessions. And then Nick Stiefel was a former player of mine at my previous institution. He graduated during the COVID year, wanted to kind of get involved in coaching, joined my previous staff as a volunteer type assistant coach. But he's a Cincinnati guy, so when I got this position, he came down with me to be closer to home, and he runs kind of our strength and conditioning and those individual sessions. So everyone kind of has a field that they're kind of comfortable in, but we all kind of make sure we kind of do things together as well, so the guys know that we're all being involved in that. And within our staff, it's 2 alums, myself, and then a guy who I coached and kind of got to see him evolve. So I think that's great for our student athletes to know that, we are younger as well, so it wasn't that long ago that we were in the same positions they were in, going through the same challenges, to be able to understand their experience and kind of coach the most out of them, and have that knowing of when it's a tough day and kind of what kind of love that they need on the day. And then also using the social media to kind of pump out the things that we're doing, and also reward our guys for wanting to promote their great performances. So I think our coaching staff is able to understand the things that they're going through, and it helps us work that a little bit harder, because we all enjoy it and we all love being around each other in the program, and then in turn our guys feed off that energy.
No, that's awesome. Well, how would you describe your specific style of coaching, kind of the team style of play, and what that culture of the team is like?
Yeah, when I look at my style, I'm not a big screamer, I'm not a big yeller, but I set high expectations, but I wouldn't ask anything of my guys that I wouldn't ask of myself or my coaching staff. So like I said, this was year 1 for me, so I wanted to put my money where my mouth is. So we did a mile fitness test to start the year. So while I still can, I trained for that over the summer and ran it against our guys. And I think that was a good benchmark of our guys. Like, all right, like, this guy might be corny, but he's going to be in the trenches battling out with us. So I think that's kind of the style of I try to always explain or have a reason why I'm asking our guys, because this is 18 to 22-year-old guys. Even though maybe they won't admit it, they want to see physical proof of something actually being executed and successful before putting all their effort and energy. So I think it's, I don't want to even say tough but fair. It's just setting those high expectations, but knowing our guys, they know that I would do it. The rest of our assistant coaches believe in it, and just that kind of everyone being on the same page, so it makes it easier to get things done that are asked. So it's still knowing the time when to joke with the guys, knowing the time when it's between the white lines, we're being serious, knowing the time that, hey, these actions aren't representing the program to the best of the ability, so we're going to be punished for it, and then rewarding our guys for the actions that really represent who we are as Wilmington College men's soccer. So that's kind of a roundabout way to talk about my experience. But I mean, I think it does help when all four of us on staff, we're all conference, players not too long ago in our respective colleges and roles. So I think our guys, it does give a little bit of an instant respect factor of, okay, these guys, they know it, they've seen it, they do it, and we can prove to our guys, whether it's through a video session, just physically seeing a tactic work, that there's full trust. And I think that's just the word of kind of the program. It's trust, it's family, and it might seem cliche, but to provide the best energy level to get the most out of our guys, it does have to have that tight bond.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, we've covered a lot of ground, talked about a lot of different things here, and I always like to end these the same way, and that's what didn't we talk about? What else do you want to let us know, whether it's about the school, the team, recruiting, the college process in general for parents and players, or anything? I just kind of leave it up to you.
Yeah. I mean, I think the one thing, and we touched on it a little bit, it's just like the quality of soccer within, I mean, the state of Ohio, this region, that this is very, very high competitive soccer. And I think it's important for recruits to go out and see it live or watch a live stream and not look at the division all the time. And within the state of Ohio, believe me, there's some incredible Division I programs. And if you're getting real legitimate love from those programs, like, good for you, then that's probably the place for you. But I mean, also I'd recommend like coming out and watching a game. Like, I mean, last night it's there's the national rankings and then there's the regional rankings, where usually the top 5 teams in our our region 7, I believe, is our region, like, make the national tournament. And it was number 6 versus number 8 in the region, and it was a very high quality soccer game. I mean, early in the year we played currently number 3 or number 4 team in the nation, Kenyon, who's even just an hour 45 minutes away from us, to an incredible, we lost 1-0. We missed a lot of chances that I wish we could have back. They had 1 to 3 shots on goal, and they just were good enough to score their one. We lost 1-0. But just to see the quality of soccer live, like, it's fun for me to coach because of how high IQ, high tempo, high intelligence, high physical, high just making the right play at the right time this level is. So it doesn't really matter where you're coming from, what club you're playing for, what high school level, academy. Like, I'd come out and see some of the soccer within this region, on campus, somewhere we're going, or just to the benefit of other colleges, what they're doing as well, because it's fun. And this is something that, as a student athlete, I would want to be a part of. So I think, Wilmington here, like, just cracked the top 8 region rankings, like, on the cusp. I think if the ball bounced our other way a few times during the non-conference season, we could be in the top 25 discussion. And we're going to work our butts off to hopefully get there. But this conference is, I lose a lot of sleep because of it, but it's a lot of fun. And I think it's a conference that kids should want to play for. And if Wilmington's the right fit for you, I'd be happy to coach them up. So it's definitely going out to campuses and seeing things, the soccer, the facilities, academically and athletically, getting to meet some people, not just the coaches, but like, I think it's awesome when you get to have a lunch like we do on campus with our recruits. You get to meet our guys, but usually it's, people not even involved in soccer coming up and just introducing themselves. I think it's a very welcoming campus here, and I just recommend, people, if you got interest in playing high quality soccer and getting a high quality education, reach out, come to a camp, schedule a visit, talk to me, and check out a live stream and see what it's all about.
Awesome. Well, Coach, we wish you the best of luck the rest of the season. Hopefully you can get crack those polls and get you where you need to go, and we'll be keeping an eye on you. And if you ever get down to maybe not Disney, but IMG, I'm more on I'm in the Bradenton area, so if you ever get down this way, let me know, and hopefully we'll get together. But best of luck, and thanks for the time.
Appreciate it, Matt.
We are excited to be part of Podcast Row at the 2023 United Soccer Coaches Convention in Philadelphia from January 11th to the 15th. The convention is the ultimate event for soccer coaches, administrators, and fans of the beautiful game. Ignite your passion through captivating presentations, on-field demonstrations, exhibits, and networking events for any coach. Whether you are attending alone or bringing the whole coaching staff, there's no better place for soccer coaches to learn, network, and experience the latest trends in soccer education. Visit www.unitedsoccercoachesconvention.org to register. Come join us as we celebrate our passion for the beautiful game.